Hepburn is absent today. And on the agenda today, we have two items. The first is a motion to approve resolution 2025-008 SSD board agreement to facilitate background checks. All the board members should have, except I didn't give myself one.
Sorry. I folded them.
To facilitate background checks. And this is to basically, we are able to have new board members be background checked per this resolution. It'll make a requirement of sitting on the board for future members going forward. That's the summation anyway, correct?
Let me make a clarification to that in that
Sure.
we want moving forward, all board members to have gone through a background check at the initial time of getting onto the board. So in this case, it has not been done before. And so both Jim and John will have a background check done so that it's all apples to apples.
And just so some clarification, so Chief Rassick and I and Dana, who's been incredibly helpful on this as well. CJIS, which is the criminal justice.
Information systems.
Yes. So in order, it's a requirement for them that the PD has, the allowance to be able to run these, because right now we do for just PD people. So this would, we decided to make this not just for board members, for board and employees. So then therefore the PD can do the same for new hires for fire. And so we've kept it very vague so that not only it encompasses board members, but any SSD employee, they can be allowed to do the same.
Right.
Chief, is that pretty close to the summation of why we're doing this? And so I've ran it through legal, they approve, Dave Doyle, who works with Kim or is the manager. And so we would just basically send this to CJIS and they'd be like, great. And then now, from this point on, then, for, the police department to run it depends on the position. That's why it's vague in the resolution, whether it's a criminal background, whether it's a credit check. So it's dependent on ORS of the position of what the investigator will be pursuing. And then we also left it vague as far as, okay, so what's the thumbs up, thumbs down? Like what's the, will be assessed in meetings from the supervisor for that position. So somebody for bike patrol will probably have a different level of, what's a knockout question or knockout issue of them out of the background versus a chief, so it just, or a board member, there would be different rules for each one that we would just discuss with the hiring body or the hiring manager.
You're saying the only person that gets the report would be the chiefs.
Correct. All the information would stay, and there's also information in the resolution about the record retention policy. That's all ORS, or Oregon, OARs. And so it's all laid out. The state already is saying this is how you do it. And that's referenced. The board will not see anything, nor, do only privy staff, the person assigned as the investigator through the PD. Which actually right now we're looking to basically bring in an outside source to do a lot of these pieces. That would be a hired on person from the PD. Correct, Rassick?
And where this came up was like, when we were discussing this, is that Chief Rassick would not be sharing the results with the nominating committee, which this whole thing kind of started with.
Mm-hmm.
We didn't want to see it.
Yep.
He would just give us a thumbs up, thumbs down. So this, now you've expanded this, so this becomes standard operating procedure for all the employees
Yes.
to do.
Board members, volunteers,
Credit, depending upon.
patrol, everybody, which is great that we can do that now more in-house.
And point out, it's not that expensive to do. It's a couple hours, so it's maybe $600 a pop, something like that, right, Chief?
Yeah, it was the cost, but also, John, that depends on who we're investigating. So for the board members, it's a much less cost because it's very bare bones, kind of what we're looking for versus a chief, or which we'd probably outsource anyway, but a police officer, much more in depth, those cost more, but we budget for those. So,
Where they stored?
I'm sorry.
Where's the report stored?
So the report stored is, then it would be going, it's a sealed file that goes into the personnel files.
Okay.
And so then you have to have, there's certain rules regarding access to that, that are state statute. So we just took what we needed it for the nominating committee and kind of expanded it to make it general,
Fantastic.
to just have it for everybody. Steve, do you have anything to add?
I'm going to move approval of resolution 2025-008.
Second,
Okay, thank you, Chief.
I missed the last part of it.
Rasik, will you repeat the last half of what you said?
Question or comment regarding the submissions for these applicants, the board applicants, and I just wanted to reiterate that yes, it shouldn't be more than a couple hours for each of the applicants to a minimal cost.
Okay,
Okay, and I'm sorry, Chair Pfister, did you move to approve the resolution?
you did. I
Yes,
seconded
sorry,
it.
I didn't realize Chief was speaking. It's for some reason I can't hear him over the
Okay.
bridge.
And then-
So yes, I moved approval.
We have a motion. A second.
Discussion.
Let's see. So we'll take a vote on that. Is,
Yes.
excuse me, Director Ralston,
Yes.
Director Kelly,
yes,
Chair Pfister,
Yes,
the vice chair votes yes. Motion passes.
Great.
Number 2 on the agenda is a discussion on public safety building budget items.
Chief Rasik, we're talking about, public safety building things. I don't know if you want to stay on.
I'm going to check out. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And for that discussion, we're going to turn that over to Ms. Director Ralston, and we got Doug here today, Doug Nelson.
Teflon to Doug.
Teflon to Doug. Okay. Well, I mean, we had, hopefully, we were supposed to receive our final numbers for the fixes up in the App Bay exhaust system and the renovation HVAC systems, and we still don't have those numbers. I was supposed to have those last week. So we went ahead and kept the agenda item on because as a result, we've also received our final SROA review of our final Form E and the as-built conditions, and so we have some issues there we have to resolve because they denied a couple of the items on our list. So working with John and Jim on that in a separate meeting later, just to kind of what our next steps are with them.
We're meeting right after this.
Yeah.
There is some cost items that they're on there that were, and some just common sense, what the type stuff. And so we may need to negotiate a little bit with them. I put the item on the agenda because I was hoping it might poke KNCC to get us the numbers a little bit quicker so we could approve it and get them going. Didn't happen, but we wanted to keep it open so Doug can kind of give you guys a review of where we're at. Is we're kind of pushing a medicine ball through the mud again and trying to get this stuff wrapped.
I don't even have a ROM for those, so we do have a scope now approved, so we're going to push for having that system initiated when they hit the ignition switch, which is what used to be. So that's really where we're going. Plus, we're reworking the sensors so that they're not in the fire zone when it comes to when they wash trucks, which is what that's what burned out the original units. So, we're gonna relocate those and we're gonna put in a timer switch at the door when they come out. So if they know they're gonna wash trucks, they can hit this timer switch and it'll automatically activate the system because we can't have exhaust fumes all the way down into the admin area. It's just crazy. So we're trying to get
Is that where that came from then? Have we finished that resolve how it got from fire into admin?
Yeah, it just wasn't active. I mean, the sensors were burned out. We haven't replaced them.
So how is it getting into the admin?
It just mitigates then the pressure also, they don't have enough pressure on the renovated side to keep it from, if there's a door open, it'll just come straight in.
And then, there's other issues like the fact it's cold downstairs, hot upstairs. You notice how cold it was the other day?
I turned off the heater when I came in.
When staff have to use
Space
space
heater.
heaters in their offices, and upstairs, they've got a thermostat that's kind of wanky. It needs to be changed out. I mean, it says it's 71, but I know it's 60.
Something, yeah.
Yeah. So, and then we're going to put 2 remotes in downstairs to average. We hopefully will mitigate those problems. It's poor design, I'm sorry to say.
Yeah.
Was that about the extent of the update for that then?
Yeah.
And so, okay, so we're still just waiting for the real meat and potatoes to come falling in our lap.
Right, and since it's a health and wellness issue as well, so I was hoping to be able to get them,
Yeah.
number one, going. I mean, we're just gonna have to do a blanket approval when it goes, right? Because we've been waiting months for the system to be changed out, so we don't have these problems. Fortunately, now it's weather that we can open all the garage doors and it helps, but that just activates the heaters up in the ceiling and
So would you say, Doug, is the holdup holding all our progress back at this point?
well, like I said, I was hoping to have the numbers I was told I would have
Yeah.
last week. And lo and behold, there was some communication between the sub trades and our engineers again that I wasn't even aware of.
Okay.
So I was rather pissed off about that. So, I mean, come on, guys, we just need the numbers. You know the scope, and I don't know, hopefully they're not changing the scope. We've all agreed to what needs to happen.
Yeah.
Anyway,
So there's nothing that the board itself can.
not right now.
Okay.
No, and I've sent Howler emails to
Yeah.
KNCC and everybody else, just get moving, and it's just, it's frustrating. It's the end of the project, and this is when you should be shining. Because this is what you remember. They've done a stellar job through the whole thing.
We're holding, $745,000 in retainage right now. That it would be key to getting shit done.
And refresh my memory, in the contract, there was no ability to claw back percentage over time with no response. In other words,
Well, they don't-
delayed projects often are.
They delivered the project, so we have a C of O on schedule, so there's no liquidated damages or anything.
Just coming, okay,
That's what you're looking for.
potential, right?
We're just holding their money and they're not gonna get paid until they're done.
Engineer subs are talking and not talking to Doug. That means they're trying to fix,
Fix it without, letting you know about it, okay.
not admitting that it's poor design.
Anyway, so we'll go through that. PCO 10, 11, and 12, we didn't get signed. Jim, I don't know if you're still on, but you need to get those signed. We approved them in the last board meeting, so I don't know who could sign those.
John can sign, or actually any of the board members can sign them, but John can sign them or you can send them to me for ESID.
I have copies here. I'll just get a
Sure,
signature.
you can, yeah.
Yeah, those were, you said, we did approve those, right?
Yes, last board meeting. So Kirby's moving through and getting all the final billing together, but like I said, we're still withholding retention until they get things done. And just so you know, the SROA is adding a few more items that could add some cost.
Well, that costs.
So
Is it significant, John, or?
But no, not huge, but just, things like painting stainless steel. It's gonna fall off.
painting the
I
wood
think
fence.
probably, I think the biggest risk at this point is the fact that they don't like the game. So
You're cutting out, Jim.
Like what?
okay,
They don't like the
don't worry
what?
about it. Keep going. They don't like
Okay.
the gate, the
The
lift
gates.
gate.
Spikes on the gate, they don't want. They're welded, so we gotta take the tops off the gate. They wanna paint the fence that's right up next to the building that goes to our security gate, but the other wood fence is fine, so, go figure.
And the way they're interpreting it is that the fence is an appurtenance thereto of the building. It is attached, or is attached to the building, and then therefore, per certain rule number, bleh, it has to be painted to match the body of the building. If we don't have to paint the rest of the fence, but
They're calling out our gutter colors, because it doesn't match the building. It's not stone over here. I mean, it's not silver. We're not gonna match a stone with a gutter or a downspout. Anyway,
we're getting into the weeds.
Yeah, we're getting into the weeds.
They don't need to hear
So
that.
let's pull it back and we'll just, now that we've had the update, I don't think we need to.
And again, we need all these numbers so we can put all this
Yeah.
stuff to bed so we can finish our reserve study.
Yes,
and I can close this out.
you can close this out and go home. All right. Well, then I guess hopefully we'll have it by the next board meeting.
My wife's comment today when I left is, I thought that building was done.
Yeah.
I agree.
Okay, so,
Thank
okay,
you.
so the only action items we need to sign that, we need to sign the resolution. Okay, we'll take care of that after the meeting, so.
Move to adjourn.
Second,
Second.
okay, we got a motion to second. All in favor of adjourning this meeting, Jim?
Yeah, yes, stay away, bye.
Bye.
Oh, there he goes.
Hey, wait a minute, we got another meeting. Where are you going?
And you have an eye from me as well. Denny?
Yeah.
Director Kelly says aye, and Director Ralston says aye. Meeting is adjourned. Thank you.
Sorry, I didn't know. wanna go down the
John,
rabbit.
just